So, first of all, nice to meet you, Pavel, and I'm glad that you decided to have a conversation with me and maybe share some of your experience.
Hello, nice to meet you too, Jack, and thank you very much for the invitation.
So I've studied a bit your accounts and watched this trailer of Witchcrafter, and it seems like very a game you spend a lot of time already. How long have you been working on it?
Okay, so Witchcrafter is my hobby project. I'm working on it mainly at night when my children are sleeping. But it is almost over 2 years of the Witchcrafter development. Will be 3 years later this year.
Oh, okay, you're already working on it almost 3 years.
Yes.
So let us know about your game dev experience previous to Witchcrafter. So I also saw some games on your pages, on each page.
Yes, because Witchcrafter is like my main project, my dream game. I would like to release someday, and meanwhile I was eager to participate in some game jams and so on to lift my skills, making a very simple project or utilizing some simpler ideas, checking out if something works or not. Thus, I did make some quick jump games.
Okay.
For
game jams, okay.
Yes.
I'm mostly interested about what kind of skills you require during your development. Maybe you can, pick one of your your favorite game jam game, and tell about it more.
My favorite game jam is definitely Ludum Dare, because it's one of the biggest jam, if not the biggest one. But I am participating also in the default game jams, as this is the engine I'm mostly working in. I was working previously with Unity and Godot, and for a moment in Unreal, but stick out with default. Also, there were previously some because I started like game dev when I was a teenager, so it could be like a few over 10 years. And I was making games like in consoles, text games. Then I discovered a 3D engine called Blitz 3D. Then I was making some mods to The Witcher, to the first Witcher. For example, to Dead Island shooter FPS, and gaining those skills, doing those pretty crazy things back then, allowed me to switch to some serious. Like a game engine that is complete with editor that allows to make a complete game. And I was searching for something, first of all, free, then performant and reliable, so I can rely on the engine that any changes won't break my projects. I was sometimes there were some times that I was very angry because of the update broke my project and I didn't want to fix it. With default, it is not happening. So I'm for now very very happy with default. I recently made even a speech about why I choose default to make Witchcrafter.
Yeah, I
And
watched it.
yes. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, nice talk.
So yeah, so that's the long story in few simple words explained.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's perfectly interesting, and I already had some additional questions, but I interrupt you. Sorry.
yes, of course. If you have questions, please ask. I am glad to ask to answer.
Sure, you mentioned that you made a mode, and I instantly start curious how was it successful or how many players played your mode.
So actually, two players, me and my brother,
Okay,
because
cool.
simply because I never released any of those creations. It was like put in the shelves, put on the shelves, because
Okay.
I was like not so sure that it is worth sharing to the public. So I was just testing some things, like learning only.
Hmm. So your game Witchcrafter is your main and the first game which will be publicly released. Uh,
Yes, I plan. I plan to. I'm taking it very seriously, and I
mhm.
plan to actually complete someday the game and release it on PC, and hopefully later even on Nintendo Switch and mobile platforms.
And okay, yeah, I just want to create a picture of your game dev journey and
Mhm.
understand how you evolve. So you started participating in game jams
Oh
after
no no no
you.
no no! Like game jams are something I started participated when I was already using default. So it's like 2 or 3 years ago. Before I was only making some things on my computer and only making it for me. So it was a
I see.
time of learning only. Then I started to make some games that people would like or could play. So the game jams I participated, and it's like everything is fresh for me. Everything is new right now.
Yeah, but firstly you started to create Witchcrafter, and then you decided to participate in game jams and take additional experience.
Yes. While I was already making Witchcrafter,
Hmm.
because maybe a little explanation about how Witchcrafter evolved,
Hmm.
because at first it was a simple mobile game. I was making a mobile game
Hmm.
uh, with match free mechanics. And
Okay.
those match free mechanics were used to collect some kind of elemental energy, and you can then cast spells. But then I was playing a lot of, for example, Good Night Story. If you know such game on mobile, it is a game with simple match-3 mechanics, but it has some kind of story above of this. And I liked that idea so much that I thought I could add to my simple game some story, some duels, and spice it up with the with spells.
Hmm.
Because back then I really liked default particle FX editor, and I just wanted to add particles everywhere. So yeah, and then after the first game jam, I went with Witchcrafter. Uh, I actually during that jam period made uh, uh, my main protagonist make him move. Okay, so I applied platformer mechanics to the game, and character was able to move to the opponents, and then you could like open some table with match-free mechanics to cast the spells. So it was a hybrid at that time, but people most liked the platforming mechanics.
Hmm.
I implemented that. So I changed the whole idea of the game and made the focus on making it a PC game
Oh, I see, I
with
see.
classic yes with classic platforming mechanics, and resigned of the match free to cast spells, to make it more dynamic, to to not make it like turn based but in real time everything.
Hmm.
Uh, and then I decided to add the whole fantasy world I was thinking about when I was teenager.
Oh, okay, so it's a
so
big
so
story.
the story so the story of the Witchcrafter came like this, and now it is. I'm now focusing on the story actually, and like adding a lot of RPG elements, like dialogues with a lot of choices, and I would like to make all of or most of them really impacting the world and the relationship between characters, and yeah, RPG elements like multiple items and alchemy, which is very important in Witchcrafter. So there will be collectible items in the world and so on. So
Hmm.
it grew very much, and it's probably even too ambitious for my experience, but I am slowly making it a reality.
Hmm. Well, you mentioned that you in some time you understand that people liked more the platformer mechanics, and tell us where did you show your game, how many people you showed it, so you decided to switch to platformer. So how many people you how to say, how many opinions
Mhm,
you're taking take took into account.
mhm. Okay, so it was like the first game jam. First, it was also a default game jam.
Hmm.
When I came with Witchcrafter, encouraged by one of the default team members that would like to see my game, because I was writing a devlog about how I'm making a game with default that is called Witchcrafter and will be about magic and so on. But back then it was, as I said, it was there were plans to make it a mobile game,
Hmm.
and then one of the default team encouraged me to take part in the jam, so I actually did it, and uh, mm, like there were a lot of people playing this game when I first released it on each IO. Uh, Maybe I could check it even today.
Yeah, how many people played your game before you decided to switch?
Mhm. So it was at the first jam. It was almost 100 people who played the game at the first day.
and
I
and,
see,
and they
and
came.
some smaller amounts later in few days. So I think over 100 people played the game the first time I released it,
Mhm.
and there were like very a lot of feedbacks that some things are the match free mechanics I making the thing really static, and because of this it feels sluggish, so they encouraged me to make it more dynamic.
Mhm. Mhm. And and then you made some changes in your game, developed the 2D mechanics, and then how you tested.
And then I was releasing the game after about half of a year for another game jam that was called Fragment Jam, when you can release a not completed game. So it was another opportunity to show Witchcrafter to another audience, and it gained much better feedbacks. And then in another half of the year, I prepared a public demo, and that demo is actually on the page still, because then after gaining all the feedbacks I got about the game, I decided to like slow down, think about it, prepare the actual design of the game, make it all documented, and decide about what scope I would like to have.
Well,
and now, over a year later, I am near the completion of the newest public demos. So I hope in few months, in 2 or 3 months, it will be available online, and it will have much more features. I think a better story introduction. I will also correct all the spelling mistakes that I made then, and there will be more dialogues, and most importantly, the choices you will make. Importantly, the actual impact, the choices you will make. Importantly, at this stage, even making some, branching in the game, and there will be a few possibilities to complete this one simple demo.
That's so. Your strategy sounds very interesting. Like participating in game jam and game jams and attracting the attention from this audience helps you to like develop your game actually.
Yes, surely.
That's cool.
I recommend to anyone who is starting with games that to actually participate in game jams, because you have that feeling of the deadline, and people will see if you people you will get those constraints, those limits, and will take it to your heart, and will try to complete actually the game, and not making the project all the time, but actually make something that is playable for people, and not worried about the feedbacks, because all those feedbacks at game jams are not about that you did not complete something or did not make something, but about what you actually made and how it feels. So it helps if what you are making or what you are thinking you are doing good, to verify if people will like it actually. But also don't treat those feedbacks, like something holy and undeniable, because you need to have also your feelings as indie devs. It's your power, and you should use it.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah, that's great advice. Okay, and I also noticed that you have 3 trailers for Witchcrafter. Am I right, or am I correct?
Could you repeat what I have?
Do you have 3 trailers on your Steam page, or just 1?
Yes, trailers are my very weak side, because I'm not very good at them.
Well, they already sounds and looks, especially the first one, looks very pretty nice,
Oh, then thank you very much, because I don't think so.
Well,
so thank you for your
I just saw it. I just watched it first time, and I like it from the first time.
Oh, thank you. My first impression of those trailers was also very, very good, and that's why I released them. But then I watched them 1,000 times or more. So maybe I'm a little bit bored of it or something like that. But as far as I remember, the first impression was pretty good. So thank you.
Yeah. So how you come up with 3 versions? Like how did they evolve?
With 3 versions of the trailer, right?
Yeah. How did you make 3 of them? Why 3? Why not 1?
Just because there are trailers made in different periods of the game. So as you could see the dates, it's probably like you've seen an old one and I would say middle one and then the newest trailer, right? Or do you mean you saw 2 trailers made made with the newest version?
I don't know.
Or were they different?
I opened the Steam page and watched the first one. It was the best, and at the end of the scrolling view there was also 2, and I watched them. They're pretty similar.
Okay, so that might be something I could revise because yes, those 2 and in the end are the older trailers, and surely they have no such features like in the newest one. So maybe I should try to focus on the newest version. But as I am getting closer to the release of the new demo, I am also preparing materials for the even newer trailer. So all of them should be replaced with the one that I will be glad with.
And did you make it alone, or you order some job from outside?
I did it all alone. That's because I'm thinking that is my weak part. I'm thinking actually about making a trailer with some studio, maybe in the future, like for the new demo or so on, because I know how important the first impression, the first visuals you see about the game are when you are where you want to show the game. This is clearly visible when you start to share what you are doing. All the posts that shows pretty visuals and so on are very, very liked by people, because we are buying with eyes.
Yeah.
and all the other things, I mean the mechanics, the backend is not worth even showing. It will be admired by players only when you actually release the game and when they will play it and feel all the things that are making the complete thing actually.
How did you decide, or how do you decide that one trailer is better than another?
It's hard question. It's
like
about
do you test it in some way, like posting on Twitter and see the feedback, or you just
No, actually, with those trailer, I didn't test them. Maybe that's a mistake. I didn't make any A/B tests or so. I just thought that what I prepared is the best I could prepare because it was actually true. I have the version working. Not everything is working when you are making the game. So you want to somehow show the vision for the game, and that was what I think I achieved, and I shared it just to the public and not actually tweaked it after. So it is as it was prepared by me, simply.
Well, they looks great already. I mean, not like an AAA studio, of course, but
yes.
But I already envy that I can't do this kind of stuff yet.
I can surely recommend here when we talk about trailers the YouTube videos from GMTK, Game Maker Toolkits, and Adam Millard, for example. Those guys are like analyzing the games from different perspectives and are talking a lot about different designs, decisions, and how they are perceived by players. So it is surely a must-have, must-watch for all indie devs. I am watching I'm trying to watch all of them as every time I see such a YouTube video, I am feeling more confident in what I'm doing, and I am feeling more maybe more conscious or something like that, conscious of what I am actually doing. So
yeah, that's great sources of.
It's helping to make more to make better decisions for sure.
Yeah, I agree. The great sources for learning. Okay, and I also noticed that you have a lot of presence in game sites like Itch, Game Jolt, Twitter. So when did you decide to market your game, and how you came to the state when you create a page on Steam? What was your process on marketing?
With the page Steam, I was most afraid of, because I think a page gives players gives game devs the most visibility. So for the actual players, because not every player is knows about how game dev works. So when you are hanging with other game devs, they know what you're struggling with, and you feel like somehow better with them because they understand you. Players that only play games are our audience actually, but they want to see completed products as best as possible, right? To make the best first impression. So releasing a Steam page is like a very should be a very serious, treated very seriously. So I was actually having at first only a devlog in the default forum. So only a small group of people was following what I am doing, and it was really a prototype.
Small. It's how much?
Small. It's, I think I got about 20 or 30 likes below the post. So maybe twice of this amount people actually watched those posts. I don't know the statistics actually, but it is still in the internet, so people still can see it. But at those time, it was like the group of the few people actually, and they were giving me a lot of feedbacks, a lot of thoughts, and a lot of support, surely, and encouraged me to make a Twitter account, and then tried to encourage me to make a Steam page. I agreed to make a Twitter, and when I haven't any Twitter account earlier for even personal, so it was, so I needed to get to know this social media. And I see that Twitter is a very game dev and gamers friendly. I mean, there are a lot of game devs and gamers, so it's surely one social media that should be treated by game devs seriously. And after almost half of the year, I decided to make a proper Steam page. Half of the year of encouragement that I should do actually, because wish lists are very important. Yeah. But I didn't want to make a page for a prototype. I wanted to have at least some materials that will allow me to show the vision.
Hmm. So let's repeat then exactly how you created Twitter and Steam page. So you started, and then how much it took to before you create your, so when you create your Twitter and when you create your Steam page after you start.
Could you
How many
please
months?
repeat because I was disconnected for a moment?
Yeah, sure. So how many months does it take you to the stage when you created your Twitter account and then Steam page? How long?
So it was over half of the year, so over six months.
So you started, then after you started, then you participated in the first game jam. Uh, then after 6 months you created your Twitter account, and you started your devlog before it on
Yes, yes.
the default forum. And after these 6 months, how many months you spent to the stage when you created Steam?
So Steam page was created a few months ago, like in the end of the previous year. So it was almost a year between I make Twitter
Okay,
account and
okay.
Steam page release. So I was really shy with making the the Steam page. Actually, I was really like afraid of Steam.
Yeah,
There
all of
is
us
also
afraid. Yeah.
yeah, there is also a fee you need to pay for each application you want to release on Steam. So, when I actually paid the fee, I started to prepare the page. I needed to have also a trailer because Steam page
Hmm.
without a trailer would be very poor, and people who came up on the Witchcrafter and will not see the vision even will surely not wish it and will probably never ever get back to this to this page.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So it was. You said that 3 months ago you created Steam page.
More than 3 months ago, I think, because we have almost 3 months in this year. It was in the end of the previous year, like
Oh, okay. It's almost.
September, I think, something like that.
Hmm. And how long did you get their wish list? It's have you created some specific posts or whatever marketing materials which uh, calls to wish lists your game?
So at the time when I was ready with
Sorry, your connection is interrupted. Maybe my connection, I don't know. I can't hear you. Pavel, are you here? Yeah, we should wait a bit. Maybe the connection will restore. Hey Pavel, I can't hear you. I should write you. I think you're talking and explaining, and this is very interesting and important. Yeah, by the way, how should I turn it? But you can hear me? Yeah, I can't hear you, sorry. I don't know what's going on. Like, I guess I have stable connection, let me check. Yeah, maybe yeah, I have an internet connection. Maybe you reconnect uh, to our conversation in Discord.
Oh,
Yeah, now I can hear you. I don't
okay.
know. Yeah, I don't know why. What's going on actually?
Okay, I needed to reload the page and now it's working, so
Okay,
we're
good.
back.
So you just started to, answering the question.
Yes, so at the time when I was ready to release the page, I had a lot of followers and support, and I have also a Discord server. So I think the audience for the Witchcrafter, those pretty small, was very admiring actually what I'm doing. So as soon as I tell on Twitter that I released the page, the wishlist blew up the
Oh,
first day.
congratulations!
Yes, so I think all the people that were actually wanting to play the game, I was promising to prepare, like showing what I'm doing, and actually having a demo that was at those days pretty updated. So only seeing the demo and what I'm doing to make it better, people wanted to actually play it and added that game to the wish list. So the first day was very, very, fruitful back then. But then, obviously, wish list came down to few or few dozens wish list additions like a day. So it's not bad for indies, but it is surely not what you would like to expect when you are releasing your when you are showing your game. So when it comes to the wish list, you must be really um, mm, let me just find the proper words. You must be really patient.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Some people
so
gaze
yes.
for years. Yeah.
So I see now that having the page is really important. You have to be prepared to have such page because you need to have materials to show on that. You need to have a specified scope that you could explain it like in like a pitch speak, so you can explain what the game is about in few words, and then you can make a simple page. Game description on the page. So if you are ready to do that, you should start your Steam page because you are over the time you are gathering more and more wishes. And at this time, I am at over 1,000 wish list additions. So
Congratulations again. For indie, it's
so
already
yeah,
great.
for indie it is I think pretty good, but but not so many game devs are sharing their wish list, and it is like something that making us blind. But I think. What I know actually that if 1,000 people or even half of them would like to play my released game, I would be more than happy.
Yeah, I can totally relate to your feelings. As an indie,
Okay.
it's great that when a specialist, at least one, hundreds of people will play your game. It's already satisfying.
Yes.
And you said that you already have a Discord server. How did you start it? And how did you fulfill it?
So yeah, so after I started with the Twitter, I was reading more and more about social media, and like searching in Google just where should indie devs promote their games. Like there were recommendations to make, of course, Twitter, Reddit accounts, and Discord, as Discord is pretty popular among gamers and also game devs. I started then. Just a server for the Witchcrafter, so I could gather the person that are the most interested in my game in one place, so I could share on the more frequent basis, but not so polished materials to share with them. Like with Twitter, you must be cautious about what you're sharing because people there are like to see the quality. And with other media, you need to with such media like Discord, you can actually people
Pawel,
more.
there are some additional like scraping sound, like something, some noise a bit.
Maybe there wasn't for
Yeah, no,
maybe
it's
there
okay.
was.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So you said that the Twitter is the Twitter requires more quality instead of Discord. Am I understood? Do I understand correct?
I mean on Discord, on maybe when you are sharing stuff or other Discord server, you should also be cautious about the quality of what you're sharing. But with I feel that the private, not private, but the Discord that is meant for only talking about the game, that people are joining such Discords because they want to see every little thing you are doing with the game. So I'm sharing like screenshots of what I'm doing actually and sharing thoughts of what could be good in the game or not, and talking with them, to make a closer relationship with those persons, as surely people that join your Discord are the closest fans that will buy the game whenever you will release it, surely. So I treat them like my closest friends, and it will surely pay off.
And so how many people do you have on Discord, on your Discord server?
Let me check, but there will be over 100 people.
And where did they come from? Do you know?
Yes, some of them are with me from the very beginning, from the default forum. So there are game devs like me, but almost all game devs are also players. So yeah, because we make games because we also like games.
Yeah. At least in the past.
And there are other persons surely that I met on Twitter, that I met on other Discord servers, and some people I even met on Reddit when I was talking on some below some posts in comments or sharing my creatures. Each of the persons is on my Discord have their own story of how they discovered each other.
Yeah, so you're also posting some materials on Reddit.
Yes, I tried, and I am trying actually to post a lot on Reddit, but Reddit have their own very strict rules, so it's not very welcome to to share only about what you are doing and promote your game all the time. So you need to engage in some other conversation and so on, and treat Reddit as something that you can cheeky talk about your game whenever there is a possibility, but not actually to brag about what you are doing. It is very Reddit is very hard to promote the games, but surely it is worth it.
And what link do you include in these promotions? To Discord or to wishlist?
It depends. I don't actually put any link to the Steam because it is like the most for game that's precious, and for players the most intrusive link that you could post. So only when I'm preparing a high quality post with some GIFs of some interesting feature that I think people might like, I am making a comment below it to, I'm making this game for such time, and if you would like to, you can wishlist it here. Like on Twitter, you could be really direct, because Twitter has the words limitation. So you are on Twitter because you are talking that you put that you make something and wishlist, and you put the link.
Mhm.
So it is direct. People are knowing that you want to promote yourself, and if they don't want to see such promotions, they won't follow you. So each followers actually want to see your content. So it's more encouraging. On Reddit, there is a different culture, so you need to behave differently.
Do you recommend some subreddits to where is the best place to post about your game?
I personally like mostly the indie games subreddit, because I think there are a lot of players that are very that like indie games and like to see what you are doing. And actually there are a lot of other indie devs who are constantly sharing their achievements and so on. So it is like filled with auto promotion. So any attempt to auto promote here is I think welcome. There are also subreddits like indie devs and indie dev, where you could post. There is subreddit for Indie World Order, kind of an organization that helps to grow indies. It started on the Twitter when I was starting the Twitter, and I know the whole story of how Indie World Order was bind up, and recently there was even Indie World Order convention that I was participating in. So if you are interested, you can read about it. If you want to hear more about it, I can speak about it for another hour. But maybe that information would be enough. So those are the subreddits you could be cautious about.
Yeah, okay.
And if you want more, you should also take a look at what you are actually doing. If you are doing a metroidvania, there are subreddits for metroidvania fans.
Mm-hmm.
If you are doing RPG, there are subreddits for RPG. So you need to also be on those more specified subreddits.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. One last question about marketing. Like I have about your Twitter account. So I noticed that you have thousands of followers and thousands of following.
Yes.
What was the idea of following thousands of people, and how did you gather thousands of followers?
So simply, if you are following some people on the Twitter, there is a bigger possibility that they will follow you back.
Okay.
So a simple trick to gain followers, but I follow only the person I'm finding interesting, so they are sharing stuff. So there are a lot of course of indie games, but if indie devs, but there are also a lot of indie game lovers and indie game streamers, players, and so on. So if I see such persons on Twitter, I surely will give them a follow.
Mm-hmm. And you don't, you didn't follow some specific strategy to acquire more followers?
But there is no strategy. If you are sharing quality, visuals, and are very, open about what you are doing and following people, you are constantly gaining followers. It's like the only recipe for success. There are. If you would like to talk about Twitter, I know one person who is really analyzed a lot about how to gain Twitter followers. So I could connect with you, and surely that person will have a lot to say about it.
Okay, that's maybe for the different,
Yes, I was thinking about it too.
Okay, but at least did you use some hashtag like hashtags like
Yes.
screenshot Saturday or
Mhm. Yes, the most popular, of course, are Screenshot Saturday, in the Dev Hour at Wednesday, but there is also Follow Friday. I don't know, maybe Action RPG Thursday, and so on. All they have all days of the week have their own unique hashtags, so you need to get familiar with them, and you need to specify the hashtags that will describe your actual game. So I'm using hashtags like platformer, RPG, pixel art to describe about what the game is. So if people are searching for those hashtags to see the things that are interesting them, they might see one of my tweets and give me a follow. So that is very surely important to specify such a genre and so on, or maybe a main theme of your game. Like if you are making, for example, fantasy game, you should definitely put the fantasy hashtag.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I have a couple of questions about your like actual work, but I don't know. Do you have time, or we should like wrapping up?
If you have some question, I will be glad to answer.
Okay, let's
If you also have time.
yeah, let's make another 10 minutes of conversation.
Yes.
So, like, I just wanted to know, like, first of all, are you solo developer or you have somebody who helps you?
I am like a full solo developer
Okay,
for now.
full throttle solo developer.
Full throttle.
Okay, and so, what your on which activity you spend the most time, like programming, art, music, marketing? How, or maybe it depends on the game stage. Can you say something
Mhm.
about it?
Indie dev have this advantage that they, and solo devs mainly, that they can choose what they will be doing today. As I have a very small amount of time daily to actually work on the game, so I'm choosing one thing I'm focusing on, and most of the time it's programming, because there behind RPGs and platformers there's a lot of coding. And as I am a programmer as my daily job, it is surely what I am spending the most of time. But also art is so much resource. There is so
Requires
much
a lot of
resources
resources.
needed for this. So yeah, this is surely taking a lot of time. And regarding sounds, I'm not surely a sound guy, so I will be surely searching for someone to help me with the music. And I actually have a lot of composers in contact with. But I surely need to have some, funds for something like this. For now, I am using like placeholders, free assets or some paid assets that are available online.
For sound or for art and
Yeah, for sound and for art as well, because there is a lot of art I'm using from all over the internet. Making my art is very hard, but I over the year I learned I think a lot about pixel art and so on, and starting with drawing simple, very simple shapes or some things I needed for the game, but couldn't find on the internet. Now I am encouraged to draw things like sprites, background styles and even animations. So I learned surely a lot.
And you recommend to learn to draw it by yourself, or taking some sketches or whatever art and adapting to.
Uh, if you ask me, I recommend to collaborate with other people
I see.
if this is possible. If you if But you know the reality is that people won't collaborate with you if you don't have funds or don't have like good prosperity or you know you can sell your vision well. So I am just preparing for such moment where I will be encouraged enough to you know offer people some kind of cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of friends who would like to collaborate with me already, so it's not a problem to find such persons. I would also recommend to you know collaborate only with guys you know, especially at the very beginning, as this surely helps. But yeah, I need to be prepared for something like this because I don't want to, you know, leave people without a job, without phones. Surely,
Mm-hmm.
it's my hobby. I'm not taking, you know, more than needed for this. I am having a full-time job meanwhile, so I'm like fully independent in what I'm doing, and I like it. I can make. I think I could make even the whole game at my pace, but I would really like to, you know, to speed it up and release the game as soon as possible and see the feedback and you know work further.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Uh, yeah, I'm just recapping in my head what I've heard. Uh, well, probably it means that I'm run out of questions, but it was very
We
fruitful.
definitely talked about a wide range of you know subjects. So,
Yeah, but
so
yeah,
for anyone who will be watching it in the future, it surely have a lot of you know advices and so on. As as much as I could help now, I wanted to share everything I know for now.
yeah. So that was very interesting, Pavel. So it's was a great pleasure to talk to you. You know,
Thank you.
and
It was
you
also a
share a
pleasure
lot.
to be you know interviewed with you. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Well, everybody who will listen this or watching on YouTube, go and check Pavel's game Witchcrafter on Steam. Maybe even somebody will wishlist it. I hope for that. So thank you, Pavel. Bye bye. See you maybe next time.
Thank you. Bye bye.